Jau 360 metų turime daug bendro. Gubernija nealkoholinis.
First of all, Cam, thank you for your time being here. I know it's long practice before, so how different are these practices from what you used to?
I mean, it's a different structure, but it's still basketball. It's some drills are similar, some drills aren't, but at the end of the day, it's still basketball.
You mentioned at first that the time zone hit you so hard. How is it now?
I'm good now. The first week or two was definitely a struggle, but I'm getting used to it.
The first day you landed in Lithuania, you told me that in a week you're gonna be a Lithuanian. So how it's going so far? How it's adjusting to the new culture?
I mean, it's different. Obviously, I'm not used to it, but learned a few words, know how to say achu, so I'm getting there.
That's something.
Yeah.
How the people of Šiauliai welcomed you here?
Good. I mean, I haven't had any problems everywhere I go. People are polite, saying hello, stuff like that, so it's been fine.
It's not the first time you're in Europe, because you played in 2017 in Under-19 World Cup, which was organized in Greece, right? So it's not the first time in Europe, but most of your life you spent in the United States. Did you have any difficulties adjusting to the new region?
I mean, it's always tough being away from, my comfort zone, but no, I'm fine.
You were born in the city of Norristown, right? It's not a big city, not a big town, but it's really close to the Philly. So the Šiauliai probably is one of the smallest places you ever lived in. How is that for you?
I mean, like you said, I'm from Norristown, Pennsylvania. It's not huge. It's not a big city, but so it's not really a huge change for me. It's been good. It's been good.
Maybe it's you're happy that you can go anywhere pretty fast, to get things around.
I do like that. Everything's pretty close by. I like that part. Yeah.
Is there any favorite spot of yours in Šiauliai?
I like the food spot called Boho.
Yeah.
I'm not really good with the pronunciation, but that little area right there, they have some good restaurants.
Yeah. Bulvaras, it's called, like the main street of Šiauliai.
It's called what?
Bulvaras.
Bulvaras, yes. Yeah.
It's not easy, but you can try it.
Yeah.
So, what's been the most surprising for you? Just your experience, something so far in Lithuania?
Most surprising? I don't know. I think honestly the language is a lot more difficult than what I didn't know what to expect, but it's a lot more difficult than I expected. You know what I mean? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much it.
How can you describe the people of Lithuania?
I mean, I haven't been here very long, but from my experience, I would say calm, polite. Yeah, they're pretty chill, honestly.
Yeah. And we have some good teammates who are helping you everywhere. How was your first weeks here in the new locker room?
No, it was good. I mean, the guys helped me out, every step of the way. Still learning where I am and, things like that. But it was pretty smooth sailing. I didn't have any problems. The guys were nice. It was cool.
Cam Fam. I've been reading these comments with this tag since the first day we announced your arrival. So can you tell us what's this about?
Cam Fam? I don't even know. It was like a thing in high school. Kind of just blew up on its own. I was joking around that I think that was McDonald's All-American, and then it just kind of the internet made it what it is now. I don't know.
You had a lot of fans everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And most of them knows you as an NBA player, as a superstar in high school, in college, and now you're here, sitting here in Šiauliai in Lithuania. So, can you tell us what made to take this decision to take your career to Europe?
Just wanted a chance to just really just play and enjoy playing basketball again. You know what I mean? It's been, I play all over the place, all over the country. I haven't never really played, overseas. But I was just looking for a change. You know what I mean? Something different. Yeah.
What excites you most about playing here? Maybe leaving your mark in different world, actually?
Yeah, so growing up, I always wanted to play in the NBA, and then my other dream was to travel the world, and so now I get to kind of do both. You know what I mean? Play basketball, see the world, experience a different culture, things like that. So to me, it's been a good experience so far.
What were your first thoughts when you heard that some Šiauliai team wants to have you here?
My first thoughts. Well, obviously, I had never heard of this city, so I was just like, where is that? You know what I mean? Those are my first thoughts. I was with my daughter, so I wasn't necessarily super focused on the whole basketball thing. I was really being a dad, so everything happened so fast, honestly, and then so I didn't really have a chance to think. Next thing I know, I was just on a flight, just taking a chance.
How did your family react when you thought this decision?
They didn't really react, there was no big reaction. It was just kind of like go for it. That's what you want to do, go for it. Obviously it's tough being away from, my child, but, sometimes you gotta take risks.
I know you had pretty long conversation with Coach Darius Songaila. How much did that influence your decision?
It definitely did influence my decision because I know he has, the NBA background. Obviously, he has good English, so we could talk. I know a few of my teammates from back home knew who he was, said good things. So, Coach definitely, played a big part in my decision.
Okay, let's go back now to the very beginning. How did it start, the basketball?
Basketball?
Yeah, for you.
My dad played basketball, so I was kind of always around it. Growing up, it literally is just always been there. I don't remember a moment that was, I want to play basketball. Nah, it's just always been a thing. Obviously in Philly, it's a big sport in Philly, so it's kind of like a way of life, honestly.
What motivates you the most about being a pro basketball player?
My daughter, plain and simple.
How old is she?
8 months.
So she can't watch you now, but after a couple of years?
Yeah, so soon.
Yeah.
She's still sleeping a lot, but soon, yeah.
So if not basketball, what would you do? Do you have some other hobbies after outside the court?
Well, growing up, I played a lot of sports. I played football, so I was always into sports, but outside of sports, I really just enjoy being at home with the family, playing video games. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not really into too much.
Can you tell something that fans would be surprised to hear about you?
Fans would be surprised to hear about me? I don't know. I don't know that anything that's very surprising.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. Like to play basketball, like to play video games, love my daughter. Very simple. Okay. And a big believer in God. That's it.
I have one quote. Let's see if you know where is it from, okay?
You said quote?
Quote, yeah. They talk about mixtapes, social media followers, and Wudangton Wu, but you know what? None of that matters. You know who said that? It's you. 2017, when you announced that you're joining Duke University.
Oh yeah, see?
You weren't a big fan of media, all that stuff, right?
No, I'm not really a big media guy.
And actually that decision was really big all over the world, in basketball. You joining that trio alongside RJ Barrett, Zion Williamson. How was that for you as a person, as a player, that time in Duke?
It was cool. It was it was a learning experience. I had a good time. I learned a lot. got to play basketball, on the biggest stage. Learned from one of the best coaches ever, so it was cool.
What made him so special, Coach K?
Coach K, his work ethic, his attention to detail. Coach is always at the gym, so I would say his work ethic.
And how was your relationship with him?
It was good.
Still in touch with him, maybe?
We talk from time to time. I was there recently, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Every time has been all over the place. But yeah, I was just on campus not too long ago, so I saw him then.
When you entered the NBA, expectations were extremely high, and how hard was it for such a young boy as you to go into that, pressure?
I don't think I saw it as pressure, honestly. It was I had a good time, honestly. I was playing basketball, doing what I love to do, so it wasn't really like pressure. I dealt with more stuff off the court than I did on the court, so basketball was still basketball at the end of the day.
What are the moments from your NBA career that you're most proud of?
The playoff run in Atlanta. I had a lot of good games, from time to time, but nothing that I would, celebrate.
Yeah. In 2023, the NBA in-season tournament, you played a big role in Lakers winning the first ever championship in this tournament. How did it feel to be a part of this historical run?
No, it was fun. Obviously it was the first time, anybody had done that, so it was fun. It was definitely a crazy time all over the place, going to Vegas, this and that. But we had a good time, man. We won, so I would say not a bad turnout. It was pretty good.
Which experience in the NBA taught you the most as yourself, as a person, on and off the court?
I would say just the business aspect. That's what you learn pretty quickly. It's a business. But obviously you get to learn from some of the best players in the world. I played with a lot of really good players that have a lot of really good habits. So being able to pick and choose, kind of take what you want from each player was pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about one of these players. It's LeBron James. When he started playing, we were like at kindergarten age, both of us. Now he's still playing at 40. So what impressed you the most about him?
I would say his consistency. And I think that goes with like all aspects of his life, not necessarily just like, basketball or whatever, but like he was always consistent with, working out. Obviously, he works extremely hard, but like he was always working out, always taking care of his body, being a father, being present, watching film, So like but it was like every single day. So there was never a day when he wasn't, taking care of himself or his family. So that's why he is who he is.
Seems like we had pretty good connection between you and LeBron. A couple of times he talked about you after the games. Even now when you came here in Cholet, he wrote a comment about you coming here. So what do you think created that connection between you?
Bron's super down to earth. Honestly, he's easy to talk to, easy to be around. And so I think we just kind of, I think he's close with a majority of his teammates, honestly. He's just a good dude to be around. So, yeah, Bron's super cool.
You experienced many different sides of basketball in NBA, including one could be really challenging, like NBA trades. For example, Luka Doncic, one of the biggest stars last season, he was traded to the Lakers, to your team. You yourself been traded a couple of times, yeah. And in the spring, one of these deals didn't run through because of the other players' health issues, right? How these trades and team changes shaped your experience here in NBA?
It's definitely, it's not as easy as it may seem, you know, especially for guys that have families, you know what I'm saying? Kids are in school. And my daughter she was just born. She was still in the hospital, got traded back. So like, that's what I'm saying. The business side is definitely something that people don't necessarily understand, you know, the entire story, but at the end of the day, it's still a blessing. You know what I mean? It's you get to go play in these different places, meet different people. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I'd like to touch this topic because, for example, Lithuanian Jonas Valančiūnas was reportedly ready to return to Europe, to Greece, when he was traded to the Nuggets. And one possible reason could have been the business side also. Do you think that more and more people will come to play in Europe because of that side of NBA?
I think everybody's experience is different, and everybody's situation is like, you know, different. So I can't really speak for what other people will do, but I don't see it being. It's definitely appealing. You know what I mean? I don't see people shying away from, you know, going overseas. I mean, there's been countless NBA players that are playing overseas and, you know, having successful careers and, you know, enjoying playing basketball. And, you know, it's a different culture, different fans. So it's, you know, it's different. So, I mean, I don't see why not.
Jau 360 metų turime daug bendro. Gubernija nealkoholinis.
Okay, now let's go to the quick questions. I'm gonna have 10 questions for you. Just first, what comes to your mind for your answer, okay? So the first one, hardest player to guard in NBA.
Brown.
Your favorite teammate in the NBA?
I can't answer that.
How about Shule?
Can't answer that.
Dunker or three-pointer?
Three-pointer.
Favorite Lithuanian food so far? Have you tried some?
I would say I don't think so, because everything's kind of in America too. You know what I mean?
Same?
Yeah, similar.
You should ask Cedric, because in his first week he already tried some.
I don't know if I don't remember. I'm kind of blanking, honestly. I don't know.
One word to describe Shule.
Calm.
Something you always carry with you.
My phone.
Guilty pleasure, TV, show or movie.
Rick and Morty.
If you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
My daughter.
Where would you like to be in 5 years?
With my daughter.
Now we're gonna have a couple more questions from our season membership holders. So the first one, Aurimas Jurkaitis asked you, what was the most important piece of advice you received as a basketball player, and how did it impact you?
The most important piece of advice as a basketball player? Got a ton of advice. But my trainer growing up just told me to stay in the gym. I think that's the biggest thing, because, you know, as long as you're in the gym, working out, staying in rhythm, staying in shape, everything else takes care of itself. So just staying in the gym.
Also, Aurimas asked, do you see yourself returning to the NBA, or are you more focused on establishing yourself here in Europe?
I'll let God handle all that. If I stay here, I stay here. If I don't, I don't. I don't know. Right now I'm here. I'm happy to be here, and that's where I'm at, so.
Matas asked you, how do you evaluate the atmosphere in the arenas compared to the NBA, Europe to NBA? Of course, you've been only to the one away game, so it's hard to say something, but...
Yeah, I'm still learning, but I don't really know, honestly. Here it's kind of more of it kind of feels more like a college atmosphere, like a college basketball atmosphere, whereas the
Drums.
league is, loud, very passionate, whereas the league is more like a show. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I don't know, I guess.
Okay, Linus Ba asked, what are the main difference between European and American basketball? I mean, I know it's a couple, rules which are different. What was the hardest for you?
I mean, the court is smaller, the game's shorter. It's more movement and ball movement and stuff. Like America's more ISO, dribble. But again, still basketball.
It was pretty hard for you in the first games, right? So now it's getting better and better.
I was just out of shape. I had a lot going on with my family, so I wasn't in the best shape.
And Greta Jid asked, what's the most memorable moment of your career in the NBA? Maybe draft night? Nah?
Draft night was cool. But yeah, we can say the draft. Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's all. That's it. Thank you for being here, and see you on the court again.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.